It's about time I talk about the Red Komodo-X. I've had this camera for a while now and I've been using it and making sure I use it for almost all different kind of production in different kind of lighting scenarios and make sure that it actually works well before I can make a video about it. And if you don't want to watch this lengthy video and you just want to hear my opinion about it, this is a very solid camera. And despite the varieties of options in 2026 in terms of cinema cameras that are cinema cameras, I will still say if your production level has gone to that level of investing 10 grand into a camera kit, then the Red Komodo-X is a no-brainer. I mean, it's a very solid camera and the image you get out of it is very solid. Well, of course, some things to say about this camera. So if you're interested in the Komodo-X and you want to know more about it, grab a chair and let's have a chat. It took me a very long time to make final decision of buying the Red Komodo-X. Prior to me getting the Komodo-X, when I was about purchasing the Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro 12K, I was contemplating between buying that camera or buying the Red Komodo-X. Eventually, I went with the Blackmagic Ursa 12K. After using it for a while, I realized the weight was just killing me and I couldn't manage to keep using that. To be honest, I wasn't getting job that justify having that weight and I had no big crew. I was literally just working alone or two of us doing the job, so it's just a lot on myself working with that big camera, and then I had to upgrade tripods and all of that. But over time I decided to go with the FX6, and even when I was about getting the FX6, I was still contemplating on getting the Komodo, at that time the original Komodo, against the FX6. And because of what the FX6 has to offer in terms of the inbuilt ND and versatility, autofocus and all of that, I decided to go with the FX6 over the Komodo. And then over time, using the FX6, I was looking out for more, and Sony released the Sony Burano, but my budget was not anywhere close to the Burano price. So then there was the Red Komodo-X and the Red Raptor, and then prior to me buying this, there was the Raptor XE, and the SE was tempting in terms of price, but I didn't want to spend so much on a red camera that I'll be buying for the very first time, so I eventually went with the Komodo-X. So the first thing that stood out for me about this camera obviously is the image quality. In terms of image quality is literally more dependent on, I think, the person using the camera, because you get 4K from almost all mirrorless camera and cinema cameras in this age, so you get almost the same resolution from them, but there are just little spice here and there that you get from the more advanced one that you don't probably get with the cheaper ones. And depending on how you light your scene and your location and all of that, your set design will bring out the best out of your camera most of the time, and the lenses you put on your camera obviously. So image quality can be, I can bring an FX30 or FX3 and set design a scene very well, light it very well, and get amazing result that if I use the Komodo-X in the wrong way or without the scene being set well, I might not be able to get that kind of quality of image. So, but in terms of what come out straight out of this camera, I think it's still by far the best image quality out of a camera I have used so far in my career. The R3D, which is the talk of the red cameras, is so good that you can push it and you can pull it to any point you want to pull it to in post-production. And because it's obviously a raw format, you can like change anything about it in post. So you don't need to 100% worry yourself so much about getting the white balance right, or which is not a good thing to do on set. If you are not using a camera that has raw inbuilt, you need to know how to use your white balance well. So that can be a pro, but it can also be a negative in terms of how you use it. So having that functionality straight out of the camera, the raw recording, and then the fact that it's 6K, you get all of that straight out of camera, is very, very good. And by the time you start editing it, trust me, comparing it to the FXs, I think it beats the FXs in my opinion. That's my opinion. So I know people have different opinion about cameras, but for me, I think this is by far the best image quality I have used in many years. The other thing that is being talked about the RED Komodo is having to spend a whole lot of money to get it to being a perfect camera. You know, obviously when you get the Komodo, it's just a little cube that you get out of the box. But I'll make a video breaking down my rig of the RED Komodo-X. I put all of this together by myself, not using any cage, but just getting accessories from different manufacturers of all of these accessories. So I want to say that can be true, and that sometimes might not be true in terms of spending so much to rig the RED cameras to your taste. So you can decide to buy the expensive stuff, and obviously when you spend much more money on some things, sometimes they last longer than the cheaper ones, but sometimes you get cheaper ones that also do very well. So I've put together this rig, and I will make a video about this rig without spending so much money. And I think at this point, the only thing I need to add to this rig is a wireless system that can transmit my image from this to another monitor, and with that is everything. Maybe a follow focus, yes, a follow focus as well. I think that's about it, and honestly, I haven't spent so much on this. If you want to rig the FXs, I know the FXs has the top handle, which sometimes can be a pro or a con depending on how you use it. If you want to rig it, you buy a cage, you start adding all of these accessories. Monitor, the monitor on the FXs that comes with it out of the box is small. If you like big monitor, you obviously need to get a monitor as well. It comes with a side handle, unlike the RED, but this is a side handle that you can always use on any other RED cameras, includes the Raptor SE. I don't know if there's another one that fits this side handle. So that's about spending so much on RED cameras. It can be true, and sometimes depending on how you go about getting your accessories, it can also be cheap. In my opinion, it's not too expensive. And then the other thing is the audio. You can record up to 4 channels of audio on this camera, and then what I do most of the time is 2 is coming from the camera body as my extreme backup, which I will not always use most of the time, except something happens and my external audio failed and I had to go back to the audio from the camera, which honestly you can, with the system we have in this time and age, you can obviously get the audio from this camera and tweak it a bit in post, and then with use of what is AI audio stuff, you might be able to get it to work for production. But I don't always use it, so what I do is the other 2 channels, I've got the mid 49 audio breakout here that gives me 2 XLR ports. So what I do is my NTG4 is connected to it, and this gives me 1 channel of audio. I leave it on one way, and the other thing I do is I have the XLR to 3.5 pin that I also use for the small Holyland microphone, just in case I'm doing like something simple and I don't want to boom a mic. So having that as a second option. So I have like 3 options. I have the little microphone that goes on the body like this one, and I have the NTG4 that is attached to the camera and it's rolling every time I turn the camera on, and I also have the scratch audio coming from the camera. So in my opinion, I don't think anything can go wrong so worse that I won't be able to get an audio for any project with this setup. So even though the RED has just 1 audio port, but with this accessory you can get so much option. So, and it's not expensive. Like I said, I made a video about breaking down all of these, and I will post that very soon. So if you're interested, please do it to subscribe to the channel to get to watch that. The next thing I'll talk about is the global shutter, which honestly I think is always the first thing people talk about when they talk about all of this RED Komodo, the OG and then the X, the Raptors and all of that. But as good as it is, they are just things that you use once in a while, like that you see the functionality. So if you are actually going to buy the RED because of the global shutter, well, it's a good thing that you get it in inbuilt. But I mean, with the FXs, I was fine with the rolling shutter, and I didn't really have cause to be looking out for a global shutter camera, like so to say. So it's a good thing that it's there, because you obviously see it in terms of when you pan the camera left and right, or when you are doing some handheld shots, like when you are running and all of that. You see that natural movement of the way the eyes follow things. That's literally how you see it, because there is no shutter doing wobbly stuff on your image. It's just as it is. That's how you are getting it. So it's good that it's there, but I mean, it's not the, in quotes, the main reason why you should spend so much money to get a RED camera, except you do a lot of like motion stuff, like sports stuff, which is very good for. Also, you can get autofocus out of this camera, which I don't personally use autofocus. Even on my FXs, I know people get FXs because of that functionality of getting autofocus, reliable autofocus, compared to the RED autofocus. They are far from each other. But I don't use, while I had the FXs for years, I didn't really, maybe once or twice, except I'm doing a studio production that like I just press record, and even when I use it on my YouTube stuff, I use manual lenses on them. That's because most of the time it's always manual lens that is on my camera, so I don't really use the autofocus that much. I think in this time and age, with the way technology is advancing, autofocus is a very good thing to have in hand. But just in case you don't have it, you can always learn to manual focus, or you have an AC. But for solo shooter, I think you just learn how to manual focus or get a follow focus and just do your thing. Moving on to the menu system, I think this is one thing that people don't really talk about, especially about the RED Komodo-X and Raptor, because I know the OG Komodo was talked about a lot, like was talked down about the menu system in terms of how it was laggy. I mean, how laggy is when you try to scroll left and right, menu up and down. I've seen videos about that, and I was really concerned about the Komodo-X before getting it, but I saw a video and the person talked about how good it was when you like swipe left and right and use the menu system. But using the RED for the very first time for my first project, honestly speaking, comparing it to the Sony menu system, I will pick this every time over the Sony menu system. I literally don't have a reason to go on YouTube or anywhere to search for anything in particular. The only thing I think I had to watch a video about using the menu is having to connect it with my with the app on the phone, like how to set the wireless settings. That was basically the only thing I had to learn in terms of the menu system. Everything is straight to the point. If you use the cinema camera before, I think you can get the Komodo and in like a couple of minutes get basically everything you need to make it work. Everything are well laid down. It scroll really smoothly left and right, up and down, and I think it's one of the things people should talk about on the RED Komodo-X, and I think the Raptor as well. People don't really talk about it. The Blackmagic menu system will still be by far the one that I enjoy most using from a camera, followed by the RED Komodo-X menu system. And the other thing about this camera is the exposure to use you have, and honestly speaking, I'm not trying to exaggerate these things or trying to make this camera like the very best camera that you should buy, but in terms of monitoring your exposure and stuff, the traffic lights, the goalposts, they are just like the best thing I've used. It took me a while to get used to it, but prior to getting it, I've watched videos about it, and the moment I got it, I had to make a paid commercial like in 5 days after getting it. So I had to actually play with it a lot before that time, and it took me little time to like get used to the whole goalpost and traffic light thing. And that system, I wish it can be in all of the cinema cameras. I don't know how it works on RE system yet, but in terms of the RED over the Sony and the Blackmagic, I know there is force color and all of those waveform, histogram and stuff, but I like this and I use it almost all the time. The other thing is the file size. I feel like the file size is often one of the reasons why people fear to get RED camera, and this subject is subjective, if I'll put it that way, because I have the Nikon ZR which I'm filming this on at the moment, and they both record on R3D and I'm filming on R3D at the moment, but the file size coming from there is way bigger than what you get from this, except you shoot on HQ or MQ on this one, where that's when you get almost equivalent of the same file size, and that is 12 bits, this is 16 bits. But there is one thing about this RED Komodo-X which I like, is the ability to record in ELQ, which is lowest tier of formats in quality that you get with the R3D on the RED Komodo-X. So since I've been using this camera, I've been filming everything on the ELQ, and I've never for once had a client saying, oh, the image looks a little bit dull, it's not sharp, it's not this. And even for my own naked eye, everything looks like really clean. The only reason why I'll use LQ or MQ or HQ will be if I'm doing something for a very big screen and I know that when I need to get a lot of pixel in place and all of that, that's probably when I will like go that high. Because of the file size, it's not really advisable to go on MQ and HQ for random stuff that go on the internet, that goes on Instagram and YouTube. Filming on MQ, I think, is overkill in my opinion. But I do everything in ELQ and it's been working well for me. You can argue that LQ is the mid-ground, which I kind of agree, but I'm not interested in accumulating file size that I will be struggling to manage. So ELQ works fine for me, and whenever I have to do the LQ or MQ, I'll definitely upgrade that. The Nikon ZR, in the other hand, only one quality. You can get mid one, lower one, higher one. Is just the highest one. So I'm hoping they actually release a firmware update that fix that as soon as possible, because I can't keep recording 6K file, 25 frames and 1 terabyte get filled up in like an hour plus or so. So it's not really ideal. Nikon, if you're watching this, please and please let there be a new firmware that gives us at least 2 versions of the quality of the RED code raw that we get on the Nikon ZR. Thank you. Now to the not so good thing about the Komodo-X, which I think there was just one thing I will mention. I've not really had any really big issue with the camera. Tell you what, I know this is one major concern for most people that want to use the Komodo or Raptor or any RED camera or even some Blackmagic cameras now. It's the 12G SDI, and to be honest, before buying this camera, I was so particular, and I had this fear in me that, hey, I feel like I'll buy the camera and in a couple of days I'll blow out the SDI, and I was not ready to learn it and use it. But it took me a while, but I decided to, you can't grow if you want to stay in one position. You obviously need to take risk, and sometimes you need to do something that you're not comfortable with and learn how to use it and make it work for you. And I've been using the SDI. Like you see, I have the Cine 7, the small LED Cine 7, and this is not the RED DSM-C3 monitor that will not make me use the SDI, which I was also thinking about, because I don't want to use the SDI because I don't want to blow it out. I was thinking of getting the small LED with the RED DSM-C3 monitor, but the price is just too much, and I've spent much on the camera already. At this moment, I don't have the budget for it, so I decided to go with the Cine 7, which is relatively close to the price of the DSM-C3 monitor. I mean, I don't also want to build a system whereby I'm limited or I'm fixed to a brand. Like if I'm working in another set and I have to use my monitor on another camera and it's just for DSM-C3 monitor, then I have to rent monitor. So I can always use this on any camera, and to work. So that's why I eventually went for this one. So back to the SDI protocol thing. The first time I used this camera with the SDI, I had to check YouTube like multiple times. There was a particular video, I think it was a short, and I played it, saved it actually. I was playing it back just to make sure that, okay, this goes in here before this goes in here. Or no, did I take the battery out first? Did I power it on first? And to be honest, if you're in my shoe and you're worrying so much about using the SDI protocol on the RED Komodo-X, I don't know about the OG Komodo, but I think the RED Komodo-X is not really that complicated. Honestly speaking, get the idea, and by the time you use it for a couple of times, you get so used to it that you're not even bothered about it again, and it becomes a part of you. And it's a good practice for every other camera that you want to use or you'll be using, even if it's not 12G SDI, but it's just a good protocol to know how to use than just getting on a set and they ask you to do it and you just blow the whole thing out. So, and another thing about this thing is, I don't know if it's a magic or I don't know whatever this is, but sometimes I actually run down battery that I was not watching out for it, and my mind will have like climbed the roof and I'll be panicking that the SDI is blown, blah blah blah, and I'll plug the battery back again and it works fine. So I'm not saying you should let your battery go off and blow your SDI, but I've done it a couple of times that either my P tap or the D tap goes out of the battery and powers off the monitor while the SDI is connected, which is not the ideal way, and I'm already panicking that things gone wrong, but I plug it back and it still works fine. So it's not like it's just like every time you mistakenly plug this first before the power goes in, or power goes out before this goes out, you have to blow it. Sometimes it doesn't actually blow like that, but I mean, it's a good practice to know that after you've connected everything, power on everything, then the last thing you do is plug in your SDI. You literally leave your SDI out, do everything you want to do, power everything on, your monitor on, your camera on, battery on, everything on, every accessory on, then plug in your SDI. And then when you are done with your work or you want to swap your battery out, take the SDI out, and then you can do whatever you want to do in any way you want to do it. So it's the last thing in and it's the first thing out. So it's LIFO. Simple, no stress, but that's probably the not a downside. I can't call that a downside because it's something you get used to and it's just a protocol you have to use. And okay, I would have preferred this to be a full frame, but if obviously you want to get the full frame, you get the Raptor SE or the S or the XL. But I ain't got no budget for that at the moment, so we stick with the Komodo-X. Use it, make the money out of it, and grow with it. And if production advanced to that level, which I believe and pray that it gets to that level as soon as possible, then we can upgrade to a bigger camera. But at the moment, this is what we have, and it's been working well. And if you are looking out for a RED Komodo system, the Komodo-X, Raptor, I think the RED is just a very good camera. It's reliable. You've seen them used on very big production, and a lot of people have used it in the past and they are still using it now. Even the DSMC 1, DSMC 2, and now the 3 still being used. So it's reliable. I've never had any issue with this camera that is the camera's fault. No issue so far. Not like it's well built. Everything is just like perfect in my opinion at the moment. So this is about it. That's my RED Komodo-X. And if you're interested in the rig breakdown, please do well to subscribe to the channel because I'll be dropping that video I think after this one. And if you're interested, you get to see it. And that's about it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.